All right, we're getting started. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Hello there. I'm Mitch Goldberg. You're watching my live stream. Be the boss of your money. I love doing the show. It's my favorite part of the day. And you know what would make my day even better? If you would just take a moment, ask me your questions in the comments while you're watching this, whether you're watching this live or in the replay. And maybe, give it a thumbs up. Let me know you're out there. Let me know somebody's out there, right? Give it a heart, a support, applause, whatever, you know, whatever reaction is available to you, depending on which platform you're watching me on right now. We're streaming to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. I run highlights almost every single day in the morning of the previous show. That's a good place to catch some things, some educational content. And I also post on Instagram at InstaMitchG. I'll put my we'll put them right here. I'll put the social media icons right here. So check these out. Okay, you see them right here. Okay, so take a look at those and make sure you follow me on one of those. I would love to see you out there. I'd love to answer your questions and have dialogue with you because that to me is the best part. It really is. I just love that. Wow. So look, there's an old expression, and I guess there's a whole bunch of ways you could say it, but it goes something like this: when the market goes up on bad news, then that is a sign of good things to come, of the market being oversold, of the market ready to go up. That's when the market goes up. Something like that. I kind of butchered the old expression. Maybe it's just an old concept, okay? But what I'm talking about is this: Microsoft, okay? Mr. Softy, the mighty one, second biggest company after Apple, but when it comes to business technology, they are the king, Microsoft, okay? They come out and announce earnings and revenue are going to be on the weaker side, lowering expectations for the current quarter uh, that we just started. Or they just no, I'm sorry, they lowered it for the quarter that uh, yeah, for the quarter we're in. Yeah, okay, now, forgive me, we're in the second quarter. Microsoft lowers earnings and revenue guidance, and when you saw the headline hit this morning, if you saw it, um, were you thinking like, "Holy smokes, this is it. This is the end. Whatever hope we had, this just put the kibosh on that. This is it. It's over. It's like the worst news you could possibly get." What happens? Microsoft goes up a little bit. The Nasdaq soars today. The Dow, the S&P go up a lot, and all the losses from the last 2 days have been wiped out. We are now on track for a positive week. The last day is tomorrow. It's only a 4-day week because the market, we just had the market close for Memorial Day of 2022. And that's a big deal that the market went up on weak news. Ordinarily, when Microsoft lowers guidance, that's a really huge announcement. And that would knock stocks down, but not today. I think it's a sign of better things to come. We've been talking about this for the last 2 weeks. Don't get overly negative. There are a lot of positives out there. And I think we're starting to see more evidence of that. And what's left to sell? Well, we're going to talk about these things. So let me just roll a quick intro. We're going to talk about these things. I've got to keep you focused on the big picture because I don't want you making hasty decisions. Here we go. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Mitch Goldberg. We're just getting started. You're watching my live stream. It's your post market show about personal finance, the economy, the stock market, and so many other things that we cover and we educate you so that you could be the boss of your money. It's all about helping you take control of your money and helping you make potentially better financial decisions for yourself and your family because that's what it's all about. We all want as bright of a future as possible. And it's only possible with health and money. Am I overemphasizing money when I talk about health in the same sentence? Well, the show really is about money, so I don't think I'm overemphasizing it, although, of course, there is nothing more important than your health. Let's talk about the market today. The market's up nicely. We're going to take it to the boards. Okay, let me get rid of the social media icons. That's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So the Dow up 435 points. That's a nice move considering Microsoft came out with the news. Well, I'll punch up Microsoft in a moment. Uh, NASDAQ up 2.69%. I always tell you, it really takes about a 1% move in any benchmark to get my attention. And, so when you see a 2% plus move in a benchmark like the NASDAQ, that definitely gets my attention. By the way, the NASDAQ, S&P 500, Dow Jones Industrial Average, these are indexes. You can't invest directly into an index, but you could invest into a security that tracks or mimics an index. There is a difference. You can't invest directly into the index, okay? Um, just the way it is, all right? So S&P 500 up almost 2%. Gold up a little bit. I am just so underwhelmed by by the performance of gold. Oil had a big update today. It was down most of the day, and that's what started to give the stock market impetus to run. But then oil started to go up a little bit. Saudi Arabia said that they're going to pump a little bit more, push a little. They're going to push a little more oil out of the desert. They're going to pump a little more. From what I understand, is the oil that really it goes into making diesel fuel. I'm not sure why this is, but Russian oil is really the oil that the world uses to make diesel. I don't know if it's because they're distill it there or refine it there or whatever. Distill it like it's a vodka. Yes, this Russian vodka is delicious. Yeah, it's actually Russian oil distilled like 30,000 times to get it clear. And I hope you enjoy it. What the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, the 10-year yield, just about flat, 2.91%. The VIX coming down below 25. The VIX is down 3.78%, down 0.97. The VIX has slowly been coming down from 30, just ever so slightly, getting closer to 20. But we see that 20. See right there? You see that go below 20? We've got ourselves a sticky rally. All right. So big moves in the major averages. Well, I got you. Let me just punch up Microsoft. Okay. Microsoft was up over $2 in the regular session. It's off 40 cents in aftermarket, but I'm not really aftermarket doesn't really mean a whole hell of a lot to me. But in any event, the stock was up over $2 a share. The news on it, let's see. It's too much about you. The news on it was that earnings and revenues are going to be disappointing for the current quarter, and that sent the stock up. Let's take a look at the Treasury curve. Yields are kind of a mixed bag. The 1 month was down a tiny bit. Short-term rates, other than that, were up a little bit, but the rest of the bond complex, the middle part was off, and the very long and the long bond was up slightly. The 20-year is higher than the 30-year. The 7-year is higher than the 10-year. This is a weird shape. Like usually you want the yield curve, low rates down here, higher rates down here, and it's like an upward trajectory. I hope that's coming out okay in the on your screen. But it's kind of weird. The rates are more like a U, like an upside down U, than they are inverted or steep. It's a very, to me, an odd shape yield curve, indicative of nothing, in my opinion. It's just, we're trying to pick a direction. That's what it is. And let's take a look at some big movers. Boeing up almost $10 a share today. Boeing has been like the biggest disappointment like I've ever had in my life. It is such a disappointment. People who know me know I'm into the Boeing, but it was finally around $200, now 140. It's just what a horrible disappointment Boeing is. And with airlines, making money, Boeing should be doing a lot better. Maybe this is the start, though. Boeing is up about $10. Maybe it is truly oversold and ready to go up. If you were coming to me with new money, Boeing would definitely be a stock I would take a look at. Is that okay to say? I'm not supposed to give buy or sell recommendations on the live stream, but I could say something. I would take a look at it. I could take a look at it. I may take a look at it. Might. So I'm not saying it's a buy or not. I'm just saying I might. Okay. I might look at it. I might look at my notebook. It's hot in here. Maybe I'll look at my mouse. You know what I'm going to look at right now? My Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. Oh, I love this stuff. Oshkosh B'gosh, Korn Ferry. It was just a good day for stocks. Wabash National, that's something we've talked about before, small cap space. Let's take a look what else is going on here. The energy complex is mostly weak today. And we talked about that yesterday, that I'm thinking, it's up a lot. The stocks don't seem to go up that much anymore when oil goes up. And, I buy like stocks because I want to hold them for 5 or 10 or 15 years. If I buy a tech stock, I don't want to make 50% or 100% return. I want the stock to go up 500 to 1,000% over a long time. That to me is the real cheesecake. That's the real beauty of owning individual stocks for the long term. How many times, raise your hand, how many times have you bought a stock at like 20, it gives us to 25 fast? You're like, oh, that's great. I'm going to take it, 25% gain. And then the stock goes to 1,000. Okay. It happens. So I'm not looking to take short-term gains, except when it comes to oil. And I've been in energy for a long time, waiting for a market like this, because I've been waiting for a stock like you. I've been waiting. Oh, it's so bad. Thinking of a foreigner, right? I've been waiting for a girl like you to come into my life. I'm like in 1980s kick. I was talking to Natalie before, right? And I'm like, now that there's a Top Gun 2 out, and the first one I think came out when I don't know if I was in high school or college. I graduated high school in 85. But I feel like I always thought my youth was like completed. I had a complete youth in the past done. But now that there's like a Top Gun Part 2, I feel unsettled. I feel like maybe I didn't really finish my youth, and I need to see Top Gun 2 to really finish my youth and put aside any any unfinished business of my youth. So I've got to see Top Gun. It's kind of like a mission. Do you feel that way? I'm going to have to bring one of my signs and hold something up like that at the movie theater. Yeah. So Chevron is off a little bit. Listen, if you own an oil stock, Chevron is probably the one that you want. Anyone who owns individual stocks, if they own an oil stock, it's usually either Exxon or Chevron or both. And then maybe they get to ConocoPhillips and they start to spread out to Oxy Petroleum and the rest of the complex. Or you could just own the XLE, which is the ETF that tracks the energy space. And so while we're talking about XLE, the energy space, let's look at the sector ETFs. So consumer discretionary, which has been weak, had a nice pop up 3%. Building materials, communications, technology, industrials, green for everybody, all in the green. Financials finally went up. And the only thing, energy, in spite of the fact that oil was up over $2 per barrel. It could be a sign that, when there's good news in the energy market and the stocks go down, it's like the opposite when there's bad news in the tech sector for Microsoft, but the NASDAQ still goes up. I think that I'm taking it as a sign. I do believe that energy is overplayed and the rest of the market is underplayed. I really do. I want to share my belief with you. I have lots of beliefs. Okay. Yeah. It's good to have your beliefs, as long as my beliefs aren't hurting anybody. And lastly, job growth seen cooling in May, but wages increases were still hot. Okay. The big news every month is the non-farm payroll report. Every month, that's the big news. And, the May numbers are coming out tomorrow, the first Friday of the month, June 3rd. 8:30 a.m. We're going to find out the labor picture. I know the screen's blinking. I don't know why it does that occasionally. It drives me crazy. And unless I want to just get all new equipment to see if I could fix it, I'm just going to have to put up with it. But the non-farm payroll number, that's the heavyweight of economic statistics. You get 12 a year. Every month, the Department of Labor comes out with the non-farm payroll figures, and they tell you how many jobs are gained or lost in the economy and the unemployment rate. And they break it down, not just overall for the population, but they break it down between men and women, between minorities, et cetera. It's a huge number. They talk about what the wages are that people are earning, hourly wages, and it tells you a lot. And then the number is expected to moderate from the last few months, which it's been doing. But wages are still climbing, and that's good that wages are still climbing. Don't get me wrong. But that's coming out tomorrow. And that's the kind of number that could move the market up or down a lot. So usually on a Thursday at later in the day, people get a little bit of a deep breath moment and say, I'm not doing anything else until I see the number tomorrow. For me, we get past the numbers, and these numbers are very subject to revisions. So like a blowout number becomes revised lower, a low number becomes revised higher. It's not the most reliable number when they first come out, and yet the market trades off of it very heavily. So that's what's going on, guys. Yesterday we talked about I-bonds. We've been talking about inflation. I'll say this. I for one, do believe we are in a recession now. I think it's already started. By the time the powers that be get around to announcing that we were in a recession, this recession will be in the rearview mirror. But people get scared. The recession, the oil. I get it. I don't think the consumer is as strong as some economists make him or her out to be. The consumer's balance sheet is strong. I don't think it's that strong. I think inflation has ravaged anybody's balance sheet. Certainly, like for 90% of the country. And that's where you're seeing like Williams-Sonoma and Lululemon do well, their stocks and their corporate performance. And then you're seeing stocks like Target and Walmart tank and have lousy corporate performance. It's just catering right now to the upper class, the wealthy is a good place to be. And that typically is a good place to be in times of recession or going into a recession. Whereas we come out of the recession, it's good to be in places that consider to the masses, because now the masses are happy and have money and they spend a lot. And collectively, you put them all together, they spend a fortune. So we may go into a recession. I think we're there. It doesn't necessarily mean the stock market has to go down. Sometimes the market could go up, because then the Fed stops cutting rates, they stop pulling back on stimulus, and we're back to the races. And all of a sudden, growth stocks start to go up again because interest rates go down, and a number of things conspire to push stocks higher. So that's where we are. I'm going to be not doing the live stream tomorrow. I typically don't do it on Fridays unless something totally crazy or wacky happens in the market. I mean, I'm talking about a down day. If we're up 1,000 points tomorrow, I probably won't do a live stream. If we're down 1,000 points tomorrow, I will do a live stream, but we'll see. And Monday, I'm iffy if I'm going to show up. I have to be somewhere by like 5 o'clock on Monday, and I have to be someplace maybe at 4 o'clock before that. So it's going to be very iffy if I do the show on Monday, but if not, then I'll be back Tuesday. It's no sweat, no big deal. I thank you. Peace out, and talk to you soon. Have a great weekend if we don't talk tomorrow. Bye.